Hey, this is Bill. Welcome back to the channel. You've probably seen those spooky ghost hunting shows on television. Brave explorers creep through dark, haunted old houses at night. And they always carry strange, high-tech cameras with them. These are often special cameras that can see invisible infrared light. So here is the big question that everyone wants answered. Could these infrared cameras finally prove that ghosts are real? To find out, we first need to understand what these cameras actually do. There are really two different types of cameras that get used. The first type is a simple night vision camera. It shoots out invisible infrared light to see in the pitch dark. That is why the footage always looks glowing and green. The second type is a thermal camera, and it is very different. A thermal camera does not see light at all. It sees heat. It shows hot things as bright red and cold things as deep blue. So on its screen, a warm person glows bright and colorful. Ghost hunters use these cameras to look for two spooky clues. On the thermal camera, they hunt for sudden mysterious cold spots. And on night vision, they look for shadowy, ghostly figures. It certainly looks convincing and creepy on the television. But let's stop and think about what the camera is really showing. Remember, these cameras only ever detect light and heat. They have absolutely no special power to detect spirits or souls. So let's start with those mysterious, spooky cold spots. A cold spot simply means one small area is a little cooler. And there are many totally ordinary reasons for that to happen. A cold draft could be sneaking in through a gap in a window. Cold air might be leaking under an old, poorly sealed door. Air conditioning vents constantly blow cool air around a room. Even a damp patch on a wall feels colder as the water evaporates. So a spooky cold spot is usually just a normal, boring draft. Thermal cameras are also surprisingly easy to trick and confuse. Point one at a mirror, and it shows your own heat reflected back. A shiny window can reflect a warm shape that looks like a figure. If someone just sat in a chair, it keeps glowing warm for a while. That leftover warmth can look exactly like a ghostly presence. Warm water pipes hidden inside the walls also glow brightly. So the camera is showing real heat, just not a ghostly one. Now let's look at those shadowy figures in the night vision footage. A tiny speck of dust floating near the lens looks huge and glowing. These glowing dots are often called orbs, but they are just dust. Small bugs flying past the camera can look like darting spirits. A reflection of the ghost hunter can appear as a faint figure. But the biggest trick of all happens inside your own brain. Our brains are absolutely obsessed with finding familiar patterns. Especially faces, we see them almost everywhere we look. This clever brain trick has a name. It is called Pareidolia. It is why you can spot a face in the clouds or on the moon. So in grainy, blurry footage, your brain invents ghostly shapes. You are not seeing a ghost. You are seeing your own imagination. Ghost hunters also love using other spooky little gadgets. One of their absolute favorites is called an EMF meter. It detects invisible electric and magnetic fields in the air. When it suddenly beeps, they claim a ghost must be right nearby. But those fields come from very ordinary, everyday things. Old wiring, phones, and appliances all set the meter off. Even the hunter's own equipment can trigger those very beeps. So a beeping meter is simply not proof of a spirit at all. Others try to record ghostly whispering voices on audio. They call these strange recordings EVPs, or ghost voices, but faint radio signals and random static sound just like whispers. And our eager brains quickly turn that noise into real words. It is simply pareidolia again, but for our ears this time. People have believed in these spooky tricks for a very long time. Over 100 years ago, fake ghost seances were everywhere. Clever tricksters fooled crowds using hidden strings and mirrors. Many famous old ghost photos were later proven to be hoaxes. Yet the belief kept spreading because we all love a good mystery. And once you truly expect a ghost, you notice every tiny clue. But why do haunted places genuinely feel so scary and strange? There are real scientific reasons for those eerie, creepy feelings. A sudden cold draft on your neck instantly feels unsettling. Very low sounds, too deep to hear, can make us feel uneasy. These are called infrasound, and they can cause dread and unease. Old, creaky houses are full of these strange, spooky sounds. And if you already expect a ghost, your fearful brain finds one. Fear makes our hearts race and our imaginations run completely wild. So the spooky feeling is real, but the cause is not supernatural. Now let's be fair and imagine a real ghost actually existed. For a thermal camera to even see it, the ghost must have heat. It would need to be warmer or colder than the room around it. But no one has ever shown that ghosts give off any heat at all. And for night vision, a ghost would need to block or reflect light. There is simply no solid, repeatable evidence that any of this happens. And that word repeatable is the real key to true science. Real proof means the same test works again and again for everyone. But ghost sightings are never controlled and never repeat. It is always one blurry clip in the dark that can't be tested. So we have to be honest with ourselves about the real answer. No, infrared cameras cannot actually prove that ghosts exist. They are amazing tools, but they only ever measure heat and light. And every single spooky reading has a simple, normal explanation. But please do not let that take away all of the fun. Exploring creepy old places can still be genuinely exciting. And the real mystery might be even more interesting than ghosts. It is the amazing mystery of our own pattern-seeking minds. Our brains turn shadows and drafts into whole ghostly stories. That is a real superpower, and it is happening inside all of us. So the next time a camera shows you something spooky in the dark, remember to ask what is really the simplest explanation, because the truth is usually hiding in plain, ordinary sight. The scariest thing in that dark room was never a ghost at all. It was simply the wonderful, spooky power of your own brain. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a new one. This has been Bill. See you in the next video.